welcome to Passion Fruit Podcast. Very excited today to have Darone Okolie here with us. Thank you so much for making the trip. This has been a couple months in the making, so I'm so happy we're making it happen. A little intro. Darone is an actor, athlete, musician, best known for recurring as Sal Dominguez on All American and Larry Johnson on the Emmy award-winning HBO series Winning Time, The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. He has also held many leading roles in Emmy-winning Disney Plus series, The Crossover, and has appeared on numerous hit television shows such as SWAT, Black Lightning, and Bob Hart's Abishola.
Yeah, Abishola.
Abishola.
Yeah, I'm learning too. I'm learning. But thank you for having me. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you. I really appreciate it. We have a lot on our list of topics today because you are such a diverse and multi-centric individual with so much going on.
Thank you.
So let's dive into it.
Appreciate that. That intro was amazing.
Well, you've got a great background.
Touched my heart.
I love it. It's great to have a multifaceted guest on our show because I feel like there's so much that we could talk about. The purpose of this podcast is to really talk about what entrepreneurial lifestyles really look like, right? Because it's not all just the glitz and the glam and the highs that we see on social media, right? There are struggles that we have to go through to experience success. And so I know that that's something that you're super in tune with. With that being said, I would love to hear about your journey and how you ended up becoming an actor.
So I was 4 years old. I was watching, I think it was 4 or 5, I was watching like Disney Channel.
Okay.
And I always had like a lot of energy and was outgoing. And I told my dad I wanted to be in the TV, and he told me it's called acting. You know, you can't be like in the TV. So I was like, all right, I want to do it. So we found this, it was like a talent casting call. I think it was for Disney Channel. And they wanted me to perform in front of my parents. And I couldn't do it. I was always shy in front of my parents.
Really?
I was a shy kid, that's just how I was. But when they asked me to audition, I couldn't do it. So they basically told me I wasn't enough at that time. So I got into sports. I was playing football and baseball. I also was doing speed skating competitively. And I think I came in second place, but I like bust my lip, so I kind of stopped. Yeah, I was figure skating, then went to speed skating. And then I think when I got to college in Atlanta, that's when I kind of got back into acting because I had to keep my mind, like, when they told me I wasn't enough, I had to like stay motivated.
I feel
you
that,
know, I think the sports kind of kept me going and kept me like
competitive edge.
Yeah, it kept me occupied at the time. But when I got to Atlanta, I went there for college. I went to Clark Atlanta. I was doing extra work, background work to try to see like what productions was like because I'd never been on a professional production. So I was able to see the actors, the producers, directors, and just see the whole motion of everything. And I was like, I like this, you know? But I wanted to be in front of the camera, you know? I didn't want to really be like behind in the shadow. So I did extra work for about 3-4 years, a couple short films, and then I told myself no more extra work. You know, I want to go big time with this.
You set a boundary for yourself.
Exactly.
Yep.
So excuse me, I got headshots, and my first role was Black Lightning. So shout out to Amara and Salim Akil. It was on the CW. That was my first show, and it was Queen Sugar after that, which we filmed in New Orleans. Then I came to LA in 2019. So the rest is like history, yeah.
So not too long ago, actually, that you came to the Mecca.
Yeah, 2019. My first show was in 2016, I believe. Yeah, right after college, like a couple months.
How has that experience been? Is it everything that you've ever expected? Like, people talk a big game about Hollywood, but like, okay, now that you're in the thick of it, what is it really like?
Well, in Atlanta, we was doing a lot of video auditions. You know, in LA, they had all the studios where you can go in person. So when I got to LA, I never auditioned like in person in a major studio. My first audition was for NCIS, New Orleans.
My gosh.
And I think I had an agent at that time because one of my friends was like, I can get you an agent. They got me an agent, but I was still back and forth from Atlanta to LA. So the agent at the time wasn't really doing much for me. And I knew I was leaving LA soon to go back to Atlanta. And I called her, I said, look, I'm about to leave soon. I need an audition. So she threw me NCIS, like, basically like, just hush, take this.
Wow.
And when I went in, she didn't expect me to book it. She called me like an hour after the audition. I was like, you got it, I didn't expect you. I was like, yeah. One thing I'm confident about is my acting, you know?
Right, your ability to perform.
Exactly. So I went in, I got it, and I was kind of on and off like with couches at that time because I didn't have it all figured out. I gave up a whole like loft in Atlanta to come here, sleep on the couch, start over. You know, sometimes you have to be uncomfortable.
100%.
You know, to get what you want.
On yourself.
You have to.
Yep. You have to leave a very, very comfortable lifestyle to get outside of that bubble to really test yourself.
Yeah, I went through a lot of isolation. You know, that got me to success. Because if I was moving with a lot of people, I would have had to see, what's your schedule? I had to go to LA on my own schedule, you know?
Right.
I have time to wait on people.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, that is super inspiring, and I know that's something that a lot of aspiring actors need to hear. Now, what was your experience like being represented by an agent? Do you feel like that was a catalyst to your career? Do you feel like, you know, hindsight, you could have done it on your own? I would love to hear, you know, from your POV, whether or not that's something that you would go back and do again.
When I first started working with an agent, I was already doing a lot by myself. Kind of managing my own career. I was helping a lot of actors out. So when it came to contracts and stuff like that, I knew what I wanted in the agent. I knew the percentage I wanted, but I was like, okay, I got to take this 15% until I can really say what I want, you know, because you take those 15s to get to the 10. Even the gangster roles they were putting me out for, I was like, I don't want to do this forever, but I need to have some stuff on my resume before I can be like, I don't want to do this.
Correct,
you know,
before
so,
you can say no.
Yeah, so I would tell a lot of actors, know your flaws and know certain things. If you're short, fat, however, use that to your advantage until you can get to the point where you can say, I don't want to do this no more.
Right.
You know, I have enough on my resume, like, I don't want to do it, right? When it came to managers, managers is different, right? Managers are supposed to pitch you, agents more so submit you. Well, managers, a lot of them get paid for whatever you do. So you have to watch that, you know. You can book a gig yourself, they still want 10%.
They still want it,
15%, you know, and they'll lock you in like a 2-3 year contract, you know, and get paid even when you drop them.
Right.
So it's a lot of books on contracts and stuff that you can read. I'm still reading myself. I think when it came to the strike, I think a lot of actors and writers had to get more knowledgeable
financially
about contracts.
Literate too, right?
A lot of actors was losing their homes, and you know, everybody went back to their contracts like, what's going on? Why am I not getting residuals and stuff like this from Netflix and all of these shows? So yeah.
Right, and I feel like that was such a big movement for actors and for the talent, and a really pivotal point for you guys, for sure. So on the topic of financial literacy and financial independence, we know that the acting game is not consistent, right? With being a creative and being in that industry, it comes with a lot of up and downs. Tell me a little bit about that. How did you navigate that? Because I know that you're an investor yourself.
Yep. So in Atlanta, when I was in college, I was doing like Uber and Instacart. I never wanted a job just because I had to have freedom to travel back and forth from like New York and to LA, and I didn't have time to call out. I never wanted to work for anybody, you know. I watched my dad, my stepdad, he was a police officer. So he would wake up every morning at like 6 in the morning and put on like a bulletproof vest. And I was like, man, you know, I felt sorry for him, but he worked his butt off, you know, so we can be where we are. And so when I got to LA, I was still like Ubering and Instacarting, and I started getting into the stock market around the pandemic. I wish I knew back then what I know now, because my finances would be like all the way up there. A lot of the stocks had dropped at that time. It was like something going on with GameStop, Microsoft, when like PlayStation came out, I made money with that. And I was telling a lot of my friends at the time who had 9 to 5, I was like, man, put your money into the stock market, don't live check to check. They wasn't listening to me.
Right.
So I think a year ago, I started doing behavior therapist work. I said, okay, because it's a guy, Aristotle Investments, who I look at his YouTube, you know, and he teaches me a lot about investments. He said, when you're trading, you shouldn't use your own money. Correct. I was using my main income, which was acting. I was like, okay, let me stop using that. So I was like, if I get a job, I can use the 9 to 5 money, which is not 9 to 5. You know, I'm not work that long. So I can put this money into the stock market, put my acting money into my business account and my S Corp. So I started doing that, man, and I started like flipping my money. I think a year or two ago, I put some cars on Toro, started making money that way.
Love
you
it.
know, so it's so many ways to make money. And I felt like that was great for me. You know, I didn't have to wait on acting.
Right.
Because when you can't pay rent and certain things like that, it affects your mental health.
Almost definitely.
You know, how can I perform in these roles and mentally I'm depressed?
That's right.
You know, your family is not here. Like for me, I don't see my family a lot. You know, I just saw them, I think, for Christmas. But outside of that, you got to deal with all your issues by yourself. So,
Correct.
yeah, man, you gotta make some money in multiple places.
Sometimes it can be lonely when you're out there hustling, for sure, right?
Exactly.
And you take that leap of faith, you move here to a brand new city where cost of living is
higher.
like 10x, right?
Yeah.
And you're taking this bet on yourself and you're trying to figure it out, but it seems like you have. Like you did everything right to establish different streams of income that will keep you at that level in between all of the acting jobs. And I feel like that is a testament of your own mental resilience, because a lot of people don't find that, you know, or they're too scared to try.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy, but when I was younger, you know, my mom was like a preacher, so I was raised with, you know, God around always. You know, I know how to pray. Even when I was in a house full of people, you got to find like your comfort zone. And the shower was mine, you know, because that's the only place that I could have peace and privacy. So I would always talk to God like in the shower. So right now, like even when I'm going through it, I gotta play like some water, turn water on or play it on the phone or my TV. I love water, you know, go and see nature, that stuff like that. Yeah, it's cleansing, it helps. It helps a lot.
That's awesome. So what's next for you in the investment space, in the stock space? So has that superseded all of your other Hollywood dreams? Or I want to know, what's the skinny there?
You know, I don't get into politics, right? The last time, you know, Trump was in office, the market did pretty well. You know, it was a lot of money in it. So now he's in office again. The market, the people that's making money are gonna stay rich.
100%.
Let me just say that. So I think the market is gonna flop very soon. And when it flop, I'm gonna buy things like Snapchat right now. You know, with TikTok doing what it's doing, Snapchat should go to the roof.
Right.
Lyft, if you look at Uber stock, man, Uber stock is so high. Lyft right now is probably like $16. That's a stock that's gonna go up. So that's called,
so much potential.
That's called swing trading. I do option trading. So I'll buy a stock out. You know about option trading?
My father was an option trader.
Stop lying.
Yes,
Really?
Up until 2008.
Wow.
And it takes a special personality because it is volatile. Like you gotta have guts.
I lost about $12,000 before I started to profit. That's anything. Even with my career as acting, I lost a lot of money. You know, a lot of times people told me no, but I spent a lot of money just to fly to New York. You know,
just to learn.
It's
tuition.
It's tuition to the game. But yeah, I lost a lot of money in the stock market, man. But it's funny because when you mention stocks, most people think you buying the stock. Like I said, man, I don't buy stocks. I'd be like, man, you should learn how to trade. I don't have time to wait a year or two. And I'm like, I don't do that. I do day trading.
Right.
You know, so you can do like swing trading, which you hold in the stock. The contracts expire mostly like every week, but you can push them out longer. Obviously, you know, I like swing trading. I like day trading. Sometimes I made probably $2,000, $3,000 in like an hour, and then I lost it by the end of the week, getting greedy. So that's the thing about this. You're gonna make a lot of money, but mentally you have to know how to win and you have to know how to lose.
Right.
You know, you have to know how to lose because that loss can get to you. You know, one day you happy and the next day you don't even answer the phone for your mom.
For sure.
I don't want to talk right now. I done lost everything.
That's right.
You know, so mentally you got to get through it.
How do you deal with that? I mean, you have so many ups and downs with acting. How do you deal with the ups and downs of day trading? That's crazy.
You got to lay a brick a day. You got to take it one day at a time. Every day set a limit. If I want to make 100, 200, get out. You know, just pay bills with it. Don't try to get rich in one day because you will lose it all. You will. And also, I chart on TradingView. That's where I do all my levels at, and you can see the candlesticks. Trading is more than just gambling. People think it's just gambling. You have some people who trade the news. You have some that trade the candlesticks. I trade a lot of gaps, like Disney or the S&P 500. Sometimes the stock can gap up overnight. whenever a stock gaps up like that, it has to get filled. So if it gap up, keep going up, eventually it got to come down and fill that gap up. So there's so many strategies you can trade. The RSI is an indicator. So people that don't know, you have indicators that make you a lot of money. You can tell if the stock is like above this red line, it's going to come back down. I have to show you on the chart, but there's so many ways to make money, man. But your circle, that's how you deal with it when you lose, man. You got to have a tight circle that holds you accountable. I'm always the type where I can look in the mirror and say, I messed up. It was my fault. I got greedy. I got to do better. And I got greedy because at the time, I was only using my acting money. You know, so if I lose that, all right, that's it. You know, of course, I still got, I have a Prius as well that I rent out. It's a hybrid. So at the time, I was making a lot of money on it. Now every week I get a check from that. I could put that in the stock market.
Right. That's your play money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now in the behavior therapist more so, it wasn't just for money. When I got into it, it's fulfilling. I've learned a lot about these kids with autism. You know, right now I'm working with I think he's about 19-year-old, and man, the patience, the redirection, you learn so much about yourself.
For sure.
You know, so I love it. I love it. Yeah.
It takes a special personality to be in that field. My sister is a behavioral therapist,
Really?
and she works with autistic kids. You know, she calls me sometimes and she's like, hey, this kid spit at me, punched me in the face, you know, and to be able to have so much compassion and show love during times of adversity, like when you're in it, in the thick of it, I commend you for it. Like,
Thank you, I
damn,
appreciate it.
you go through a lot every day, a lot of emotion, and you still are so strong.
I appreciate
that's amazing.
I mean, I love working with the kids, also the adults that are there. You know, they see me coming and pulling up in a certain car or whatever, and they're like, why are you here? And I'm like, I want to be, but I also can teach them about finances, about putting their money in like a high yield saving account and certain things like that, and how to flip their money, because they're there for like, I think 6-7 hours, and you know, they're struggling financially. I'm like, okay, here's some advice. You know, this is what you do. But yeah, when it comes to the kids, man, some of them can be aggressive in certain ways. Like I said, you just have to figure out a way to redirect them.
How do you feel like it's impacted your life and your relationships in other ways?
Like I said, redirection. You know, even I come from a space of inner city neighborhoods, Southeast DC. I grew up around a lot of anger, you know, a lot of violence where people didn't know how to communicate. So even when I talk to my parents or my cousin and I see them like raising their voice, I find a way to redirect the conversation or how to calm them down in a way, you know. So yeah, it helped my life in so many ways. I'm still figuring it out, you know. Maybe one day I'll play a character, you know, where I can bring everything I saw at work to film, you know.
Wow, it seems like you're very tapped into your own mental health and your own emotions. Do you feel as though that's what keeps you grounded through all of the different emotional turmoils that the various industries and the things that you have your time and money invested in? Do you feel like that helps?
You have to stay grounded. Every set I go to, I say a prayer. You know, I promised God, I told him this is what I want. He gave it to me. Of course, it took a little longer than I wanted, but the same prayer I said when I started, I still say on Disney or I say on Warner Brothers. And I just thank him for the opportunity to be there, to be a voice, to be able to inspire people. Yeah, man, it's not easy, but like I said, prayer. You know, you gotta stay grounded with God. And I also know in this industry, when I started, I never had expectations with people I meet. Like my mom would call me, how was it meeting LL Cool J or such and such? And I don't have no expectations because I don't want them to let me down. I know they're human. I know they have bad days. You know, I go in and I do the work and I go home. Yeah. You know, I'm in the industry, but I'm not of it, you know, so I leave.
And I think that that's something that's so rare. Like hearing you say this is something that is few and far between, because a lot of people are in the industry to be in the industry. You know what I mean? Whether that's a good or bad thing, we don't know, right?
Yeah, it'll get you there, but it won't keep you there. Even with the looks, you know, you got a lot of people that use their looks for the roles. It'll get you to that set, but when it's time to perform, it will not keep you there. Right. You know, and the thing about acting, I risk a lot for this. You know, my dad died when I was younger, so.
Sorry for your loss.
Appreciate it. So I always had trouble with time because I felt like I never had a lot of time with him. So I received love differently. I'm even practicing on receiving love now, you know. I can let a person like walk out my life so easy because I'm so used to it, you know? But in this industry, man, it will never love you like you love it.
Right.
You know, I know people that's like, when I book this role, that's gonna be it. I made it.
Right.
I'm telling you, you can book a role, walk on Warner Brother. When you're done, that next day, walk on that lot and see if you get in.
Right.
Your name is not on the list. You know, it never stops. You always gotta continue to work. And for me,
stay relevant.
You gotta stay relevant as well. And know your why. As long as you know your why, it'll keep you going. Stay mentally strong, because it's a lot of people like me, like I know what I'm doing in the industry. It's a lot of people that know a lot more than me, and they will use that against you. You know, for women especially, I help a lot of women in this industry, a lot of producers, a lot of directors. You have to watch out. I don't even know if I want my kids in this, but I know enough knowledge to protect them.
For sure.
You know, you gotta be safe in this industry.
That's such sound advice that I feel like the viewers listening right now will really appreciate. Any other golden nuggets on the acting industry and Hollywood in general?
Creatives, like when I was younger, I always look in the mirror to know myself. You have to know yourself, because when you get in this industry, they'll tell you the person they want you to be. You know who you are, know the image that you want to put out into the world, and stand on it. Don't stop, don't quit. You know, don't quit.
How do you handle rejection?
It's hard. It is hard, especially like being a man. Like when I was with my ex, it's times where like you want to pay your rent, you want to pay the mortgage or whatever the case is. And it's like, I need to make this work. And it's times where you'll get a role, you'll get pinned for it. Pinned meaning you like on hold, and you're like, you get excited. You tell your mom and dad, and then you get the call like, you didn't get it. And you was expecting this. I mean, some of these shows pay $50,000, $60,000 an episode.
Right.
You know, so you preparing like, man, rent gonna be taken care of, this and that, and then you don't get it. You like, it hurt because now your dad calling you or your mom calling you like,
did it hit?
Did you get it? And you gotta tell them. And then certain times where they call you like, what's next? And it's like, mentally, it's like, yo, I'm still trying to focus on now. I'm still trying to figure this out. You know, and it's hard. It gets real hard. But like you said, playing tennis, going to the gym, you have to find other things to do outside the industry. You know, fall in love with something else. You know, it'll come. Acting comes. It's never going anywhere. It's always a new movie, a new show, a new writer, a new director coming out of USC or Morehouse or Clark or wherever. So it's always gonna be there. You know, it comes when you least expect it. I'm telling you, the moments I wasn't thinking about acting is when I got that call from my agent. And I'm big on like affirmation. So if you check my phone now, on my agent contact list, it say agent, parentheses, booked.
Love it.
Like I'm automatically, when she called me, I'm kind of, it's like an affirmation, you know.
Right.
Also, like when you book a show, or even before you book a show, I would say get an S Corp or LLC. Now, when I did Disney, they wouldn't pay me with my LLC. They wanted me to have an S Corp. So what I did at that time, I was trying to get my LLC taxed as an S Corp.
Right.
And you can do that. I think it's a form 8832.
Yep,
where you
just
can do
submit
that.
it.
But it takes a while. Productions don't have time to wait for that, right?
Right.
So what I did was I was like, okay, scratch this. I'm just gonna go apply for an S Corp, a whole separate one. So I can't say every production or every studio wants you to have an S Corp, but my advice to actors is definitely get that, pay yourself, because if you don't, when you get that check, it's gonna be a million things that come out, you know, but you have to be responsible, because they're gonna give you the full check, and I would say sit aside at least 10%, just in case you might have to pay that. You know, get paid with your business, because they paying you as a business.
Correct.
So that's some info right there.
I love that, the insider info that people don't talk about. This is the financial literacy piece, right?
And they fought me on it. They did not want to pay me as a business.
I bet.
Yeah.
But that's how it is, right? And that's what IRS doesn't want you to know either, you know?
Yeah.
So
they're going to be coming after me with this one.
So with that being said, at what point in time in your career did you know that it was so important to become financially literate and to literally treat yourself like an LLC and an S Corp in all the things that you do?
Yeah, well, I had a manager, and my agent was booking me a lot of gigs. And every time I was booking it, I was giving my agent 10%. And I had another manager, he wanted 15. He would not switch the contracts. And I already had left him, but he still wanted to get paid for a certain show. And I'm like, man, he's getting over on me, but what can I do? You know, until you book enough, you really like, you kind of small-minded in the industry and you don't want to speak up, right? And I spoke up, that's why I left him. But at the same time, he knew the contract more than me. He wrote it, obviously.
Sure.
But when I got with another manager, she helped me fight it. You know, he tried to scare me with like lawyers and stuff like that. And she said, well, he can't take a percentage anymore because at the time you signed the contract, you was with me.
Right.
You know, the old contract was signed with him. If it's a serious regular, anything like that, the money comes to me. And she wrote him and kind of, you know, fought him on it, and he backed off. So it's like, man, you gotta find some trustworthy people. I know so many actors and rappers who have accountants who have stole a lot of money. You know, it's hard to trust in this business.
Right. People
It's
are
hard.
greedy. There's so much greed because there's so much money in it. Yep.
It is, man, but we gotta read the books, and also actors like myself or someone you know in the industry that been there before you, ask them for advice. The thing about us actors, man, it's like we think that it only can be one at the top. You know, it can be more than one of us. Ask for advice. The answers are right there. You know, we can't be selfish. We gotta help each other.
There's enough room for everyone.
Exactly.
Yep. I think that's key. And I don't think a lot of people feel that way in the industry, right? Everybody's got a chip on their shoulder because you're competing against one another for roles.
Yeah. Let me say this. When the fires happened in LA, that's the first time I saw LA with a heart.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that LA don't have a heart, but with so many artists here and creatives, man, it's like it's cutthroat. They'll stab you in your back for opportunity. And it's the first time like actors or different people was reaching out, are you okay? And we was all like there for each other. I'm like, it felt genuine. Usually when a person meets you, what do?
Right.
They don't even ask you your name. Based on what you do in your resume, you know, that's how I'll determine if I'm gonna associate myself with you.
Right.
That's how LA is. And yeah, I don't like that. So I think the fires, I hate that it happened. You know, my heart goes out to everybody who lost a home or lost someone. You know, I think it brought some heart here, you know, and it shook up LA, you know. Outside of earthquake, it shook up LA in a way that we know that we need each other here, you know. It's like being on an island or something like that, you know.
For sure. It was such a devastating moment, but I feel like it united the city in so many ways. So like we were just talking about, the LA fires were absolutely devastating, but it was a moment of unity for the community and those that were impacted. You being in North Hollywood, you were just miles away from everything that was happening. Tell me about your experience.
I actually went through depression during that time because only thing I could do was trade, you know, unless if I leave out, I have to deal with smoke. But my lungs right now kind of, shortness of breath. But my parents was calling, uncles, cousins, reaching out from Germany, Africa. It was a lot of people reaching out. And they watched the fire on the news. And of course, it looked real, but imagine being here and just seeing it. It looked like, you know, hell. I was just getting overwhelmed, man, with so much at that time. And I cut my phone off. I deleted my Instagram. I didn't want to talk to anybody, you know, because I wanted to do so much for people. And I've learned during that time, you can be there for people more than just financially, you know. Even Tyler Perry, all the money in the world, he was like, how can I help? Because even the money just, you can't bring, you know, a life back that you lost in the house and certain memories that's there. I can give you all the money to build your house, but, you know, a lot of people lost a lot. You know, one of my coworkers, my job, she had like 15 minutes to grab all of her stuff.
That's crazy.
You know, she had 15 minutes and she didn't have a car.
Your world is literally ending in that moment.
She didn't have a car, so she lost everything, still trying to figure it out. You know, of course, the government or anybody who haven't reimbursed her, or, you know, they're still figuring this whole situation out, how it happened and different things. So, like I said, my heart goes out to everyone in that situation.
Likewise. And so in the midst of it all, are there any causes that you're supporting to help rebuild LA?
I know it was one in Pasadena. I forgot the name. We actually supposed to go there this month. It's a water company I go to. It's called H2O Divine. They have a lot of water and like affirmations. They make their own water with like crystals and stuff. But we're supposed to go out there to like donate, give out clothes and stuff. I don't know the name. I wish I knew it so I could shout them out.
It's okay, one's right here.
Yeah, okay, I'll give it to you.
But that's awesome. And so how is it like now? Like what are some of the side effects that you're experiencing because you were in the thick of it?
Yeah, with like me talking now, sometimes I gotta like stop and pause myself, which teaches me to articulate even more.
Sure.
If I talk fast, I'll have like shortness of breath, and I need to go get it checked, you know. I don't know why, or like congestion. Sometimes on my eyes, I had LASIK on my eyes, so my eyes will like dry up, like, look, you know. My eyes will like dry up a lot, and I have to like, lubricate it. I think PTSD as well. I know a lot of people that left LA, and sometimes out of nowhere, even me, I just smell fire.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'll just smell it, or if I see fire on the street, it could be a small fire that like a homeless person is cooking. It'll make me like nervous, because I remember driving on the highway, and one of the power lines, I was driving to Pasadena for a premiere. One of the power lines hit another power line and sparked in the air. I thought it was fireworks. That's how bad this was. It looked like a war.
Apocalypse.
Yeah, I was like, yo, this is insane,
That, I mean, I can't even, words cannot express how terrifying the whole scene was. I mean, obviously with my sister being in LA, we were really worried as well, but I mean, I'm just so thankful for the rain that's coming down right now, because we needed it. It's been years that we've seen something like this, and historically, LA fires have taken place in the summer.
Yeah.
The fact that this one was in the middle of the winter, I don't think anybody was expecting it.
No, I thought it would have been raining, early January, but it didn't. We can't control that,
Totally.
God definitely, I'm not saying it was him, but it woke us up.
Definitely.
It definitely woke us up, man.
Definitely think that there is some good that did come out of it. Like I said, I feel like the city is united like never before. There's so many causes that are coming up to support wildfire relief and supporting small businesses that are impacted as well, which is a huge thing. Local economies being impacted because of the devastating losses of the buildings, etc. So it's been really cool to see the community come together just to support one another, like you said, in a genuine way.
Yeah, it's a lot of people going through it, man. A lot of people depressed, lost stuff. We just have to know, like, we're not the only ones.
That's right.
It's a lot of people going through it. You can always reach out. There's people to talk to,
How do you think the fires impacted the Hollywood industry?
So going back to the pandemic, where we was out of business, I actually was, when the strike happened, I was just wrapping up All American, which is like the biggest show in my career. I was supposed to come back next season. Strike happened. They rewrote and everything, and it didn't work out like that. And then with the writer strike and the actor strike, and now we come to pilot season, which is now. I got like maybe 2 or 3 auditions, and then the fire happened. So we didn't get an opportunity to like start the industry back.
Right.
So we kind of set back again. My agent sent the email, because of the fires, we got to
delayed.
Again. So for actors right now, it's tough. It's a lot of actors that walked away from the industry because of this, And it's not our fault when it comes to the fires. It's stuff you can't control, but it's like, man, for people that actually like, that love this, you understand, for me, like, I've lost a lot of people on this journey. Times I couldn't go to funerals, or I didn't choose to go to like the funerals because I wanted to, be the best actor in the world. I'll share you the experience, but when I did the show, The Crossover, I was in New Orleans. I was filming Crossover in wintertime at the same time, flying back from New Orleans to LA. Like, I had one shoot that I was up for like 2 days on a red eye filming. Man, when I say I was so tired. So during this filming, I had lost about 4 family members in about, I think, a 2 week span.
So sorry.
I appreciate it. It was, when I say it was so tough, like, this industry, man, acting, you give a lot, you take a lot too. And for Disney, you gotta be the most like outgoing. I remember I lost my aunt, then my uncle died, then my uncle died, then my other uncle died in London. And I'm trying to go to set and smile. I mean,
oh my gosh.
It's like, yeah, we need more smile, and I'm trying. But in the inside, I'm like, I never had an opportunity to like grieve. Because like you said, I'm doing 2 of these shows and both are comedic,
Yeah.
So with acting, man, people don't know what you're going through. We judge a lot of actors on shows like, oh, they wasn't good enough. You don't know what they're going through in their house. I didn't have an opportunity to grieve, and at that time I was with my ex, and I remember her being in the room, and I'm just sitting there doing push-ups in LA, getting ready to go back.
Right.
And out of nowhere, I'm doing a push-up, I just broke out like crying, because I'm trying to keep it all together, So in this industry, man, you don't know what a lot of artists and creatives are going through. We go through a lot just to give you the performance. And a lot of this is real. None of it is fake, People will be like, man, can you cry on spot? These are real emotions I'm using to cry. It's not a gimmick, So I just want to share that for a lot of people that don't know the industry. A lot of people think acting is therapy. We release. That's what therapy is. We release, but we also bring it back in to use it again.
Sure.
As much as I want to let go of my dad, when I cry, I gotta keep it back because I have to bring it out again. You know, in another movie, another show. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that.
That's such a interesting perspective, one that I am so grateful to have just learned today, because you're right. Actors are humans too, with real life experiences outside of the show and outside of the storyline that you guys have to go through, and you just never know. I mean, shit, I know what it's like to, you know, have a bad day and then have to show up for work the next day with a smile, but like I can't even imagine losing, I'm so sorry for your loss.
And I didn't make it to any of the funerals. So in my mind, you know, I'm this actor, I can't say big actor, but I'm a working actor. My family, like, he ain't coming to the funeral.
Right.
They didn't say that to me, but this is how I'm thinking.
Of course.
While I'm trying to work, and you know, for me, I'm the first one in my family that come this far. So in my eyes, I'm doing this for them.
Right.
And I'm not saying they thinking like this, but this is how I'm thinking. Like, I want to be there to support them, you know, but I couldn't, you know.
But you're doing it for them at the end of the day, right? And I know that they're proud of you for how far you've come.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't want to see you give up an opportunity like that for, you know, anything.
Yeah.
So I respect it. I truly do.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
With all of the different types of emotions that you have to go through with all the different roles, how do you decomp at the end of the day?
Yoga. I started doing like yoga in the sauna. I love that. Before every workout, I'll do like some stretches and stuff like that to kind of get my emotions out. Even with like tears, when you're on set, there's certain stretches and stuff you can do to. I learned that in theater. I did a show at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, and before we would do certain stretches and stuff like that and exercises to help your emotions flow out a lot.
To connect.
Yeah, a lot easier. So yeah, a lot of yoga, stuff like that, and also leaving my work at work. You know, like when I'm done with that script or when I'm done with an audition, because sometimes you can get 3 auditions in a day, and you playing a happy person, a sad person, and a crazy person.
Right.
Multiple emotions. So when I'm done with the script, or the sides, as we call it, I ball it up, throw it in the trash, and I leave it. You know, because you have to know who you are. A lot of actors, like for myself, I was always shy. You know, I started acting because I was shy and I wanted to kind of go against the grain. If you notice, most actors in interviews, it's hard for them to be themselves and easier to be someone else.
Right.
Because it's always easier to try to be someone else, and to be yourself is hard because you're shy. You're like, I don't want nobody to know I talk like this. So that's really why I started acting, because I felt comfortable being different characters or different accents and stuff like that. But
that's
yeah,
fascinating.
the best way to kind of get away from the industry when I'm dealing with like depression and stuff like that, it's just to leave my work, you know, leave it at work and take it day by day. That's all.
So long-term goal-wise, do you want to continue to pursue your acting career? Do you see longevity in that? Do you find that, you know, your investment trading and your day trading is going to one day supersede and let that take over? Yeah. What's on the horizon for you? For
me, I didn't have a lot of opportunities growing up in DC, so I definitely want to put a management or talent agency back home to kind of help. Most of my things is like humanitarian stuff for helping. Just
I love it.
My only goal was to be on TV when I was younger, and then I realized that acting is with superheroes. You know, we can beat anybody. You know, we can tell stories that other people can't tell. All of our ancestors, we can bring them to life on screen. You know, so that's gonna be the death of me. You know, I'll do that for free. You know, I just know it costs a little more to get me now, just because, like I said, I don't take classes and stuff. Everything that I give on a screen is my own trauma, you know, so I'm not doing it every day. I do it when I need to, you know, and I'll bring it out when I need to. So yeah, put a talent agency back home. Also, I would love to build like a school in Nigeria, like of course, like a performance school, but I want to teach like stocks too, because you watch people go like 9 to 5 and stuff, but I've seen people make 30, 40,000 in a day and what people make in a year, you know? So I want my community to know about trading, because I didn't hear a lot about it growing up. And you can do this whether you've been to jail and you got to, you know, strike, or however, it's for everyone. You just got to take the time and learn it, you know, learn the charting, learn everything, or at least learn how to get into a trade or crypto or something, because it's fast money. It's money you can make overnight, you know, get you some property, stuff like that. So, yeah.
What is your thought on cryptocurrency, actually?
I'm not big into crypto. I missed the, what is it, XRP? Did you hear about that? I missed that one. I did get, what is it, Dogecoin back in the day. I sold it.
Sold it, yeah.
I've been sold it before it blew up. I'm not the biggest on crypto. I'm learning. That's one thing about me. I don't feel like I know it all. I have people around me that know more about crypto, and I'm still learning on that tip. I try to tackle certain things at a time. So I'm not the biggest on crypto, but I do feel like Bitcoin is going to crash soon. It's going to go down, and when it do, you got to get in. You know, whether you know about it or not, it's going to go down. One thing we say in the trading world is buy the rumors and sell the news, because once it hit the news, it's already too late.
Too late, correct.
You know, so buy the rumors. Whenever you hear people talking, yo, this is going to do this, that's when you get in. Don't wait till it hit the news.
That's great advice. So for somebody who knows nothing about trading, stocks, investments, what's the one piece of advice that you would give them if they wanted to start?
Go to, and I'm gonna support him. Like I said, I learned everything from him. Aristotle Investments is a guy who was in the military, took all of his military money, put it in the market. You can go to his YouTube. He has all of his videos from start to finish, teaching people how to trade. He also do live trading. It ain't a lot of traders that go live, like, and get in a trade with you. They'll tell you a trade, you lose it, you never talk to them again.
Right.
He does live trading. I would start off just buying some stocks, you know, looking at the news, seeing the stocks that's like low. Everything about trading is mostly like visual. You have to I'll have to show you like on a chart, you know, but it can definitely change your life and change your kid's life. You know, it's kind of long term sometimes. If you look at it that way, you don't want to rush trades because you will lose a lot.
Everything.
You will lose everything. And there's people that have taken their life because they lost like so much, because money rules the world right now. You know, so I would definitely send them over to him because he knows a lot more than me. Definitely, if you want to reach out to me, I can teach you. I could definitely teach you a lot. But one thing about trading mentally, your mental has to be there. You know, like I said, you have to know how to lose, because you can lose one trade and be like, I quit this.
Right.
And that's a part of the game.
You have to be resilient.
You're going to lose, you know. Yeah, that's a part of the game. You're going to lose. But you can win more than you lose. Just
if
gotta
you
stay
do it
mentally
right.
ready.
Yep.
You have to.
And then what about for those that may not have that liquidity? How do they enter?
I never did this, but some of the brokerage accounts, like I think Thinkorswim, I don't know if Robinhood got it, but you can do paper trading.
Yeah.
Where you don't actually have to have the money to get in. I wish I would have did that. That 12,000.
That would have been smart, right? Yep.
Yeah, you can get on there and you can trade with like fake money to learn how to trade and learn from like your losses and stuff like that. But every check, like I have Acorns too. And Acorns are like, every time I'll spend, it'll round it up and take whatever it round up and put it into like a savings. So if you have a job out there, take $20, $30 from your check. It don't take a lot to trade. Like, you can get in a trade with like $20. People think you need thousands of dollars to get into a trade. You don't. Having more money don't make you a better trader. It just means you're gonna lose more.
That's right.
You know, yep. So that's good advice right there.
I love that. Anything else that you want to share with the viewers today?
God is good.
Love that.
All
awesome.
the time. That's it.
Darone, thank you so much for taking the time to make it out. It's been such an honor to have you, and so many golden nuggets shared with our audience today. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This is a beautiful place. I love it. I love it.
I love it. Now you got to get into golf.
I do. You're going to teach me.
Yes.
You hear it here first. She's going to show me the way.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.